So in Luke chapter 12 and verse 15, Jesus says, beware. And the word beware there means keep your eyes open. Don't be naive. Beware and be on your guard against every form of greed. And greed is covetousness and desiring for that which you do not have, a lack of contentment with where you are and with what you have. Greed is an inordinate desire for more of what you do not have. It is grasping after. And it becomes the focus. It becomes the myopic vision of your life. And Jesus explains why. He says, for not even when one has an abundance, meaning more of the things of this world, does his life consist of his possessions. Even if you had more and more and more and more of this world, that's not your life. That's not who you are. He says in verse 16, he told them a parable. You know what a parable is? That's an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. He told them a parable saying, the land of a rich man was very productive. I mean, it generated an extraordinary cash flow. This man was fabulously wealthy, and he owned much land, and the land was very productive here. And so this man's pockets are becoming fuller and fuller and deeper until his pockets are just bursting. Verse 17, and he began reasoning to himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no place to store my crops? Then he said, this is what I will do. I will tear down my barns and build larger barns, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. Now, what I want you to note there in those two verses, verse 17 and 18, is that 6 times we see the first person singular pronoun I. This man is suffering from an eye disease. I. He worships the unholy trinity of me, myself, and I. This man is obsessed with himself. This man could strut like a peacock sitting down. And he is just in a self-absorbing mode. That's his whole life. It's just to get ahead in the world, to just have more of the world, to just stack it up more and more. And the more he has, the more he's elevating himself above others, and the more he feels good about himself. And so he builds larger barns so that he can have more of the world. And again, there's nothing wrong with having barns, and there's nothing wrong with having a productive harvest. What's wrong is this is what he lives for. This is what his chief agenda is. This is his reason for living. Verse 19, and I will say to my soul, he's talking to himself. He is the personification of arrogance. Probably because no one else will listen to him. Would you? Soul, that's what he calls himself. Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years to come. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Just indulge yourself. Just pamper yourself. And just continue to consume the world. Verse 20. But God said to him, God said to him, you fool. You mindless one. You fool, because you have failed to live for me. Because you have failed to live for the world to come. Because you have failed to live for the kingdom of God.